let's go over quick review. So the power is the ability to influence or control of the action of others. That is often through the coercion, persuasion, authority. There are some different types of power. Coercive power, like dictatorships, authoritarian regimes, the legitimate power that is like President of the United States, expert power that is like a Federal Reserve Chairman, and referent power. Those are the type of powers. There are much more power, but those the power that I mentioned was the most common power in politics. Then the authority. Authority means the recognized and legitimate right to exercise power. Authority is legitimate right to exercise the power. That is authority. And also it comes with make decision that others are expected to follow. So authority is accepted by society and open, institutional, within the framework of rules, laws, customs. There are types of authority, which is traditional authority, charismatic authority, legal, rational authority. Those are type of authorities. Lastly, the legitimacy is the general acceptance and recognition by the public that a governed body, leader, system that is accepted, recognized by the people and public, that is legitimacy. So it is what gives authority its rightful power, make it stable and respected by society. A type of legitimacy was democratic process. That is legitimacy, right? Because it has recognized, accepted by the public. And also performance-based legitimacy. Another type of legitimacy was cultural, traditional legitimacy, right? And legal, rational legitimacy. That we are talking about those type of legitimacy. Okay, let's continue with theories of politics. Today, we'd like to talk about, there are many theories about politics. When we talk about a theory about politics, we need to look out the history of politics and history of philosophy that is studying, we call that is classical political theory. In terms of classical political theory, there are two important figures. First one is Plato. Second one is Aristotle. Those two philosophers they influenced a lot. They made foundation of contemporary politics. So we call that classical theory. Then we're gonna move on to a social contract theory. The most famous figure was Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and then there are French, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Those three persons are very important in terms of social contract theory. The next theory we like to talk about is Marxist theory. Commonly known as communist socialist theory. Then we're gonna move on to liberalism. Okay, liberalism is it comes with always conservatism, right? So we like to talk about conservatism at the same time and liberalism. Then we gonna move on to anarchism. Okay, anarchism is, in short words, there's no government needed. Okay, without official government, this anarchism activists, they advocate that without the official government, they can rule, they can manage the state. That is anarchism. And then also constructivism, okay, that is international relationships. And then lastly, we like to talk about the feminism, okay. Feminism is, advocate the equality between man and woman, right? So we like to see in theoretical, academical study in feminist political theories. Okay, let's see. Now, we just like to go more deeper into classical political theories. Like I said, the most important figure are Plato and Aristotle. Those are ancient Greek philosophers. Because why they are so important? Classical political theories have shaped much of modern, nowadays, political thoughts. Also, they made the foundation idea about government, the power, the justice, role of citizens, role of classes. All those, the concept, idea came from classical political theories. So that's why still it affects the system we use now. That's why we need to talk about those two key figures. Okay.
안녕하세요.
Yeah. Okay, we have many handouts, 3 handouts. Okay, and take this Plato, Aristotle, and Machiavelli. When student comes, give this.
네네.
Okay. We're gonna read that handout when we have more students come in. Okay, so why it is important, Plato, Aristotle is, they still influence the system we use in politics, still affecting, still give us big influence. Now, modern days political systems, like how we make the government, how we use power, what is like the role of citizens, what is like the role of each classes, all those terms coming from classical political theories, Plato, Aristotle. Okay, just watch quick short video. Okay, this video doesn't explain. Always when we talk about philosophy, it is really, really hard to understand the main idea of certain philosophers, right? But this video is a brief explanation. I tried to find out, the most easiest way explaining how Plato, how Aristotle gives idea to modern politics. Okay, let's watch.
Pop quiz. Are you a Platonist or an Aristotelian? An idealist or an empiricist? Do you think up neat rules to describe the universe and then try to fit data into your theory? Or do you observe the world and draw conclusions from what you see? Do you trust math or your senses? Before you decide, let's take a trip to urban Athens, circa 399 BCE. Despite having, by any reasonable standard, invented science in Europe, these thinkers are lumped together today as simply not Socrates. So, who was this smart man? Socrates didn't have a single clearly formulated natural philosophy. He didn't even study nature. He studied politics and morality and prided himself on not claiming to know things. But Socrates did two important things. He asked a lot of questions, which influenced how philosophers went about teaching their ideas, and he inspired the two rock stars of classical Greek philosophy. Socrates held that knowledge comes from asking questions. So many questions. His name is attached to the Socratic method, in which you constantly ask questions so that students can steadily break down a big problem into smaller parts they can test hypotheses against. It's okay if they realize that a hypothesis is wrong. In fact, it's good. It means they're moving away from falsehood. The Socratic method is an example of negative hypothesis elimination, or proving that something is wrong to narrow down the possibilities of what might be right. But Socrates' biggest legacy may be his student, Plato, and his student Aristotle. Both were inspired by Socrates' methods, but they arrived at some very different conclusions about the world. We know a lot about Socrates thanks to his students. Chiefly, Plato founded a physical school called the Academy to train Athenians in how to think like Socrates. Plato wrote down dialogues between Socrates and other thinkers, including Parmenides. He was the Eleatic philosopher who believed that nothing really changes and thus we can't trust our senses. This had a big impact on Plato, whose best-known works include Republic, in which Socrates defines justice and argues for rule by a philosopher king instead of democracy, and Timaeus, in which Socrates talks about the nature of the universe. Plato had a big impact on thinking about thinking. Today, we still use Plato's name for a place of philosophical learning, academy, to describe the concept of higher education in general. At the original academy, Plato emphasized training in how to think properly. Over the door of the academy was inscribed the dictum, "Let no one enter here who is ignorant of geometry. Plato based his own philosophy on geometric laws. He taught a Pythagoras-inspired idealism, or a theory of nature based on perfect abstractions, rules of which real-world stuff could only ever be imperfect examples. So Plato had to fit his observations to his theory. That idealism is one of the reasons people think of Plato as more of a philosopher than a scientist. Plato built on the work of the pre-Socratic schools, but he developed a more complete way of looking at the natural world than they did. And his students took off in search of solutions, even as they changed his underlying theory. The only Greek who wrote more philosophy than Plato was Plato's own star student and rival, Aristotle. Compared to Plato's idealistic abstractions, Aristotle's philosophy makes more common sense.
Okay, here's the relationship. When we talk about Greek, Asian philosopher, the most famous philosopher was Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Actually, Plato was a student of Socrates. Plato was middleman. Plato was also teacher of Aristotle. So when we talk about philosophy, it starts from Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Those three philosophers still influences a lot in every aspect of our society. So it is important to know that. Keep going.
Ideas are based on empirical evidence. He observed the world and then came up with a theory that explained it. This order of operations is at the heart of modern scientific practices. Aristotle was from Macedonia in the north of Greece, but he studied at Plato's academy in Athens for 20 years until Plato died. Afterward, Aristotle took a lucrative gig. King Philip II of Macedonia hired him as tutor to his son, Alexander, and you know this particularity.
Yes. Also, Aristotle, also teacher of great Alexander the Emperor. He is almost a private teacher of the King Alexander.
He decided to conquer the entire Earth. Before age 30, he ruthlessly conquered much of Asia, Africa, and Europe, ruling over more area than anybody until Genghis Khan. Aristotle's influence on Alexander the Great reminds us that science is always social. From the very beginning, scientists have served bad, heartless dudes. Aristotle, a man who literally wrote the book Ethics, pushed his most famous people to invade Persia, kill barbarians, and become a brutal warlord. After Alexander died young, Aristotle went back to Athens to start his own school, the Lyceum. The Lyceum was pretty different from Plato's academy. Because Aristotle liked plants and liked to walk and talk, his school wasn't in a building, but a grove of trees outside the city. And his school was called the Peripatetic, meaning walkie, and thus informal, not like the academy. It was during the Lyceum years that Aristotle probably wrote many of his most famous works, including Metaphysics, On the Heavens, On the Soul, which is actually an amazing book of protobiology meets psychology, and his school's highly influential set of textbooks on natural philosophy called Physics. How did Aristotle answer our big questions about physics, such as what was stuff and where are we? He posited a complete system joining the elements and the heavens. This became the basis for European thought about the physical world for 2,000 years. Let's compare Aristotle's system to his mentor Plato's in this episode's thought bubble. For Plato, the cosmos was perfect. It had perfect rules that could be studied, and
Okay, watch from
cosmic
here.
stuff was made up of atoms that were perfect.
Carefully. Right here, we want to see Plato and Aristotle. They have a kind of point of view, how they can see, how they can censor the world is like. Okay, so as you know, Plato, idea. Have you heard of idea in Korean words? Ideal. Okay, that the term comes from Plato. So it is a little different from also Socrates. It is a little different from Aristotle. Okay, So watch here.
Geometric,
Yeah.
platonic solids,
Okay.
each creating one element. Tetrahedrons of fire, cubes of earth, octahedrons of air, icosahedrons of water, and dodecahedrons as the shape of the whole universe, like a giant celestial set of D&D dice. Plato's theory of the heavens stated that the wandering stars, that is the planets, follow the path of uniform circular motion. You see, the wandering stars must move in perfect circles since the cosmos is orderly. But this one is moving backwards. Plato's students could see that Mars, for one, seemed to jump backwards, showing retrograde motion. Plato didn't really have an explanation. European astronomers would spend the next 2,000 years meticulously trying to solve this problem. They would end up learning a lot in the process. How did Aristotle build on Plato's system?
Okay, that time, the Plato and his disciples, students, they were watching the Mars. Originally, they thought the world in heaven that should be perfect. So moon circles around Earth, perfect circle, right? But the moon was moving different way. So it was answered after 2,000 years. It was Galileo Galilei and the many the cosmologists, physicians, physicists, they gave
Aristotle's
answers to-
cosmology was abstract too, but he attempted to make sense of observations about the world. He crossed those same four elements plus a new anti-void called the ether with four physical sensations: hot and cold, dry and wet, and used these to explain everything. Earth was the heaviest element, so it was the center of the cosmos. Water was lighter than Earth, so oceans rested on top of the Earth. So far, so good. Air's natural state is above water, and that also checks out. Fire is on top of air, which is a little weird, but it does go up, I guess. And way out past these four terrestrial spheres, out past the moon, spun the stars, acting according to their nature as ethereal, or perfect circle-moving objects. And nowhere, anywhere in this theory, was a void. Nature abhors a vacuum. In Aristotle's cosmos, all of the elements were actively trying to get back to their natural state. Why did flames rise? They were just trying to get back to the fiery celestial realm above the air. Thanks, Thought Bubble. From the pre-Socratics to Plato to Aristotle, we've ended up with a bunch of spheres inside spheres, each with a natural tendency. This confirmed the average Bronze Age farmer's experience, and ours. The Earth seems to stand still, water sits on Earth, air isn't very heavy. Aristotle recognized that elements didn't always exist in their pure forms. A tree, for example, was a combination of earth, water, and air. Roots go down into the earth and branches go up into the air. His theories also worked for comparisons. Why does a book fall faster than a piece of paper? Well, because it has more earth in it. Aristotle could even explain natural phenomena. Why does rain fall from the sky to the ground? Why do volcanoes shoot fire? Obviously, this isn't how I think gravity works, but it's a way of explaining it that made sense to the ancient Greeks. Where Plato saw a world of ideal shapes, Aristotle had a theory that acknowledged that we're all kind of a hot mess. Things are naturally jumbled up, but always trying to get back to their essential place. Aristotle also loved looking at living things, and he looked closely. He noticed, for example, that the octopus can change color, which is awesome, and that male octopi have a special arm called a hectocotylus, which is something you should Google, because it's weird and kind of awesome, and it wasn't confirmed by scientists until the 1800s. Aristotle trusted that knowledge proceeded from the experience of the senses. In his works, such as History of Animals, among others, he wrote down observations like these about all kinds of organisms. He also tried to classify the world into an orderly system, giving rise to taxonomy. When he attempted to answer one of our questions, what is life, the taxonomy he created relied on a system of souls.
Plants were the simplest group, with only a vegetative soul. Let them grow and reproduce. Animals had a vegetative soul too. They also had a
Okay, at
sensitive
that
soul.
time, great philosophers not only they do their role as thinker, okay, they were also scientists, they were doctor, they were scholar, they made question why the world is like now. where we came from. They give all the questions and then they try to give answer all the questions. That's why the philosopher started. And then, so they want to try to find out why we can breathe. We don't see the air, right? So where the life's coming from? They give all question and try to find out the answers. So that's why they study philosopher. They study the perfect heavenly world. They studied science, and everything.
Animal soul, which let them sense and move. We humans were set apart as the highest group with the three souls: vegetative, animal, and rational. The rational soul explained why we can think and reflect on ideas on top of all that other stuff.
This led Aristotle to further theorize that all things can be placed on a line from simplest / least soulful to highest / most soulful. On one end, he placed plants, then worms, and so on. These low animals bore their offspring cold, dry, and in thick eggs. The higher animals made warm and wet babies. So, of course, at the other end of the line, Aristotle placed men, meaning not humans, but dudes. According to him, cold maternal blood produced inferior humans, girls, while hot paternal semen produced boys. Aristotle was maybe not someone we would want to elect as our philosopher king today, but Aristotle's system of classification again seems to confirm his classical and medieval readers' daily experiences. His proto-biological ideas stuck around in various forms until Darwin, getting lumped under the heading of the Great Chain of Being, that all creatures on Earth stand somewhere on a ladder of perfection up toward God. You may have already guessed that this concept has been particularly troublesome when it comes to scientific racism, but that's a story for later. The creepier effects of some of his ideas aside, Aristotle had an answer for everything. For the most part, these ideas were based in observation and conformed to his common sense. His answers were able to explain how These ideas were based in observation and conformed to his common sense. His answers were able to explain how the world worked most of the time. Not only did Aristotle come up with a complete theory of everything, he wrote it down. He was a prolific author, and a significant percentage of his texts have survived thanks to our Arabian scholars. Then again, Plato's transcendental ideas about the cosmos, even if wrong in their particulars, inspired centuries of scholars to think about the universe as having underlying laws, ones that hold regardless of what our senses can show us. So are you a Platonist or an Aristotelian? Or, taking a page from Socrates, is that a trick question? Next time, we'll follow Alexander the maybe not so great into India.
Okay, this is not a particular part of what they were studying, that is kind of broad area of they were interested in. They gave question. They tried to find out the answer in every aspect of the world they were living. So that is kind of not particularly related to the video is not particularly related to politics, but their ideas, their thinking, their questions, their answers, some of them still affecting, influence modern system of politics, philosophies. That's why we try to see, know how what the Plato was and Aristotle was. Okay, let's go more deeper about Plato. Okay, Platon. He was lived in 348 BC. It is a long time ago. So Plato's political theory that is primarily outlined his work with republic, also that revolves around the concept of, he gives us idea what is justice. He was thinking about what is justice, what is perfect country? What is perfect state? And then what is the role of people? He was thinking about. He tried to find out the answer about those questions. So, and he also proposed the structure, organized the society. Okay, here I'm gonna say, okay, I just wanna explain later. Okay, philosopher king. Have you guys heard of philosopher king? Okay, anyway, and then that state is governed by wisdom and reason. Okay, philosopher king would ensure that each class, working class, high class, low class, they do their function in proper way. That is what he's saying was a perfect, ideal state. So each class, they work in harmony. Okay, they gives benefit to whole state, whole country. Okay, so for Plato, the harmonist order, organized order, and with ruled by, led by government, who has pursuing wisdom, reason, so that brings all the beneficial to the society. That is, a philosopher king. Okay, let's see what this is like. Okay, Plato's theory of form. Okay, I translated in Korean, Chinese, and Japanese. Okay. But when we talk about politics, we want to learn from Plato. Remember two key terms. Okay. One is ideal, form of ideal. In Korean word, 이데아론, 이데아. 이데아를 뭐 찾았어. I look for idea, something like that. Then another term we need to see is philosopher king. Another word in Korea, 철인정치. When we say 철 means not like, 철 means a philosopher. Okay? 철학자. When we say 철학자, that 철 comes from philosopher. So 철인정치 means a philosopher, politics. Okay. So let's see. Let's read together. Okay, I'm gonna read first paragraph. Second, Mr. Ho. Mr. Ho. Eric. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. So, let me read first. Plato's theory of forms. Theory of form is idea. Idea. Okay, is central aspect of his philosophy, explaining the existence of two realms. Two realm means two worlds. Let's say in Plato's theory, two realm means two worlds. 천상의 세계, 지상의 세계. Okay, two realms. Heavenly world, earthly world. Okay. So the world of phenomena and the world of form. Okay. Here, the world of phenomena is earthly world, material world. Okay? World of form means ideal world, heavenly world. Okay? So next, Eric, can you read? World of forms.
월드 오브 폼이라고요?
Yes.
네, 읽을까요?
Okay.
According to Plato, the forms are eternal, unchanging, and perfect realities. The world of form cannot be perceived by our sense, but only through rational thoughts. Concepts such as justice and beauties are part of this world of forms. This ring contains the perfect archetype of every object and idea in the material world.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I have a translate in Korean. You can read, you can help. Okay. Plato thinks there are two realms, two worlds, which is heavenly world. That is another word, form of idea. 이상세계. Right? And then earthly world. That is material world. The reality. The people live on earth. That is phenomena world. Phenomena in another word in Korea, 현상. 현상세계.
현실이잖아요.
현실. That's right. 현실 세계. Phenomena world. That is 현실 세계. Right.
근데 공부하면서 느낀 게 미래가 잘못되면 망상이 될 수 있는 거 아니에요?
Maybe.
자기 생각 속에
Right.
현실은 너무 다른데.
Let's say someone has a wrong vision,
네.
right? Like Hitler.
그렇죠.
Okay, good question. So let's say imagine. Okay, let's imagine. Let's think. Okay. In your mind, in your brain, let's make perfect circle. Can you make perfect circle in imaginary? Yes, no. By only imagining, thinking, can you make perfect circle when you close your eyes? Can you make? Just imagine perfect circle. Can you make it? Yes, right? But that is perfect circle, perfect idea is form of idea. Heavenly world. But 현실 세계, phenomenal world, can you make perfect circle with drawing? No, right? Now you can make perfect circle by help of computer, right? But handwriting, you cannot make perfect circle, right? That is 현실 세계. So Plato insisted we have heavenly world, ideal world. We pursue that ideal world. Even though we cannot make perfect circle, we try to go there. Heavenly world should be practiced on earth. Making vision of perfect world. That is ideal world, form of idea. So he says there are two words, right? 현실 세계, phenomena world, heavenly world, form of idea, ideal world. So that is the main, idea. Okay. Just when we talk about Plato, form of idea. Form of phenomena world. Okay? We pursue to reach form of idea. idea. Yes. So, okay, next I'm gonna read. Okay, next. Miss O, can you read word of phenomena?
The material world that we experience daily is what calls the world of phenomena. This world is filled with changing temporary objects, and these objects are only imperfect imitations of the forms. For instance, the tables, trees, and people we see are all shadows or reflections of their perfect counterparts in the world of forms.
He is genius. What do you think? Okay, what we experience in material world, it is not real. We just touching, we just live on shadow of perfect world. Let's say when we talk about religion, when we talk about Christian, right? The heaven was perfect world. We just live on the shadow of heaven. Also, Plato, he influenced a lot to Christianity and Muslim too. Yeah. So everybody know that, right? The earthly material world always changing. Shape is changing, right? The matter changes. Radar got rusted, right? That is changed, yes. But perfect world, form of idea, no change. So he distinguishes material world, ideal world. So he give allegory. Allegory means 비유. Allegory means 비유. Okay? 비유를 들다. Allegory. So, okay, I'm gonna read. Okay, the allegory of cave. This is a very good allegory. How we can understand the form of idea and phenomena world. Okay, to illustrate this theory of forms, Plato presents the allegory of the cave. In this allegory, let's say, people who have lived their entire life in cave, they never seen outside of the cave, okay? Whole life lived in cave. So they only can see the shadow casting of light, right? You only see your shadow on the world, right? So believing this shadow to be reality. So you get confused. Shadow of yourself is true reality. It's not, right? We only can see the shadow of myself, but shadow is not me, right? That is just reflection of myself to the world, right? World. So, however, these shadows are only imitation, not true reality, right? Shadow is imitation of myself, right? Yeah. So living the cave get outside of the cave, that means you pursuing the perfect word. Try to find out the real ideal word. So word or form represents the process of philosophical enlightenment. Enlightenment means 자각, 개몽, something like that. So once you need to get out the cave to find out the truth, real ideal word. So you realize, shadow is only reflection, imitation of myself. So once you get out, you find true yourself, pursuing perfect word. Okay. So the last paragraph, Eric, can you read? Last in conclusion.
In conclusion, Plato's ideal forms assert that true knowledge is attained not through sensory experience but through rational thought. While the material world is imperfect, behind it lie the world of forms, which is the true reality. Plato believes that through this link, one can pursue unlimited truth and knowledge.
Okay. So Plato think the sensory, the touching, I touch something, I touch pressure on my finger, right? He said that is not real world. That is reflection of ideal world. So the material world we censor everyday life is not real world. That's Plato's idea. We always try to the higher, virtue. Virtue means middle. Higher beauty, something like that. We need to pursue those, the ideas. Yeah. So many people still live in this time. I am a material man. I want money. But I just, missed the true meaning of what I can do with money. Let's say I like money. I want to make money because I want to have a big house. I want to have a nice car, right? That is not true in Plato's idea. With that money, you can realize truth is you can help with that money to the poor. That brings idea of beauty, right? Higher virtue, middle. That is practicing form of idea. That is Plato's idea. Understand? Little bit of understand? It is really hard, when we talk about, here, the paper, we have 3 different papers. Yeah. 3 different papers, yeah. Idea, word,
Animals.
yes. Animal word and
The last one.
Machiavelli? Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're talking about the Plato's theory of forms, ideal word. Okay, I wrote. I'm not sure it is translate right in other language. Okay, in Korea, Plato's theory of form we call 이데아론 in Korea. How do you say in Chinese? Can you?
Yeah.
Li something.
Yeah. The first two is
Yeah.
the ideas.
Yes,
And
yes.
then the last word is just the theory.
Theory, right?
Yeah.
And then also Japanese,
Yeah.
yeah.
Idea.
Idea, yes. So Plato's theory of form, idea, is explaining the existence of how many words? Two words. One word is heavenly word, perfect word. Okay? Other word is material word, phenomena word, the word you live on earth. Okay? Okay, word of form, 이데아 세계. Yeah. 이념 세계, maybe 이념 세계. in China. Okay, according to Plato, the form ideas are eternal. Okay, just have a perspective of a Christian. Okay, just pretend. So is heaven changing? No, right? Heaven is perfect or imperfect? Heaven is perfect, right? so Plato think the form of ideas is unchanging, eternal. There is no beginning, there is no ending. Perfect reality.
Whatever.
So the perfect word, there's no beginning, there's no end. It goes forever, eternal, unchanging. But our sensory system, my hand, my eye, my ear, we cannot see the perfect word. We only see sensory word, right? Touching, hear, material word. But the material word is not perfect word. It is just shadow of heavenly word. That's Plato's idea. So it cannot be perceived by our sensor. But everybody talk about heaven, right? In Christianity. But nobody saw the heaven, right? It is, the idea of our mind. Yeah. So concepts, justice, 정의, beauty, that is part of ideal word, perfect word. So we need to pursue to achieve justice, beauty. So this realm, this world contains perfect architecture of every object, idea in the material world. Okay, I also wrote it in other languages, translate Chinese and English. It can help to understand the idea of Plato's. Okay. here Plato, world of phenomena. What do you say? 현실 세계, 현상 세계. The world we live on earth. That is world of phenomena. Another word, material world. We experience every day, right? Yes. So this world is filled with changing or unchanging. Changing, right? Yeah. Every material, the shape changes by the time, right? Yeah. The metal got rusted, right? Yeah. So it is also, he said, temporary. We have time, right? Limited time on earth, yeah. Not, eternal. So, everything on earth is not perfect. That's Plato's idea. Even human is not perfect. Because we have time to live in limited, right? We are changing. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we get angry, sometimes we give jealousy, we envy somebody. Yeah, we're not perfect.
근데 왜 그게 완벽하다고 생각할 수 없는 거예요? 기쁨을 느끼고 화를 내고 질투를 하는 게 사람의 당연한 건데 그게 왜 완벽하다고 생각할 수 있는 거예요?
Plato's idea. He is thinker. We try to pursue perfect. What he think was perfect was, for example, pursue justice, pursue beauty. Here, we don't say, any philosopher say, this is wrong, this is right. They don't say, okay, this is bad, this is not good, this is good. It is nothing like that. We cannot judge things in a philosopher's perspectives. Yeah. It is just, idea, their idea, still affecting, influence modern systems too. That's why we study. I don't agree Plato's idea 100%, right? You don't agree. Okay, he has some kind of special idea. Okay, maybe we can adopt his idea nowadays, right? That's why we study, Plato's idea. That's good, yeah. Some people say, human is perfect. We plan, right, tomorrow. No animals do something like this, right? Yeah. We make friendship. Yeah. We make, friendship with ladies, right? Love relationship. Yeah. No one else does. No creature does this. That's why human is perfect. You can insist it. Yeah. You can give idea. I hear. Yes. I think you are right. Yeah, human is perfect. Yeah. Okay, keep going with Plato's. Like I said, in this handout, allegory of cave. Once you are in the cave, you only see in the darkness only your reflection, only the shadow of yourself on the world. Right? That's not real yourself. That is world of phenomena. Once you get out of the cave, you find your true yourself. Getting out of the cave means you pursue perfect world. Truly you find what yourself is. That's Plato's idea. So allegory of the cave is very, very good allegory. People may understand what the form of idea, world of phenomena. So leaving the cave, you try, then you understand, you can see the true idea word, form of idea. That is only allegory, right? Actually, you think in the cave, you get out the cave, you don't see the idea word. It is only allegory, being. Okay. Lastly, okay, here it is a very, very important terms. When you try to find out the perfect word, ideal word, form of idea, the sensory works to find out ideal word? No, right? Sensory means material word, right? By sensoring, we cannot find out the form of idea, ideal word, either. We cannot find. The way we can find the ideal word, Plato says, rational thinking. Rational means logical think, not emotional think, okay? Emotional think, we cannot find out the perfect true word. Rational think, for example, okay, I close my eye, okay, 1 plus 1 is 2, okay, then 2, okay, I see 1 plus 1 is 2. Then the question 2 plus 3 might be 2 plus 3. Okay, that's 5. That is a rational think, right? Logical think. Okay, A equals B, right? C equals B. That's the phenomenon. But you find, oh yeah, A also equals C. That is logical, rational think. Okay, when you are like, the great scientist, Newton, right? When he see the apple, most people, the first reaction was they, mouth filled with water, right? I wanna bite that apple. But that is emotional reaction, right? About apple. But Newton, he think differently. Why the apple was falling down to earth? He tried to find out the answer rationally, logically. Because that's the difference. Rational, emotional, okay? So the only way we can reach the perfect word is by thinking rationally, logically. Okay, simple, right? Idea word, two different words. Form of idea, phenomenal word. By sensory, only we can feel material, phenomenal word. But we want to reach to heavenly word, perfect word, ideal word, form of idea, by what? Logical, rational think. Try to pursue what? For example, beauty and justice, something like that. Higher standard of virtue. That is. Okay, let's see one more time. Other video about Plato's idea. Before that, okay, let's see. Let's finish this one. Okay, that was, I said in the beginning of the class, two main idea about Plato's. What the word is. There are two words, right? Heavenly word, earthly word. That is idea. Yeah. That was one idea of Plato. Another idea he gave us was about politics. Okay? Just know that in this class. Idea and then philosopher king. Philosopher king ruled the world. That is the opinion about politics in Plato's perspective. So let's go. Okay, he said there are three classes of society. Now, how many classes most people think? How many classes now in the United States? Working class, middle class, and then upper class, something like that, right? How about China, one class?
No, didn't get what you mean. Class.
Yes, yeah, that is the class, right? Yeah. So Plato think there are three classes. Philosopher class, philosopher king, they are leader of the society. Okay? And then other classes, guardian, soldier class. Yeah. Then working class, producing class, farmers, craftsmen, right? Something like that. He said those three classes consist of the society. So here, another main idea about politics was 철인정치. I'm sorry, in Korean. 철인정치, that is philosopher king politics. In another word in Chinese, can you also understand the Chinese letter?
Which one?
Chinese letter, right here.
Oh. Yeah, it's just the same as the philosopher king.
Yeah, you know the meaning same?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just
good.
direct translation, yeah.
Yes. So Plato think the leader of the state, the country, should be philosopher. Yeah. Why philosopher should be leader in the state? Because Plato say philosophers try to find out always perfect word, right? They try to find out the real word. They admire, they respect what? Beauty and justice. Okay. They use many good wisdom, good ideas, right? That's why, Plato said, philosopher, they should be leader of the state. So also government should be rational government, logical government. It is ruled by the idea of wisdom, justice, and reasoning. Okay? I'm an official in government. I want to hire somebody, right? The process of hire somebody should be logical or emotional? Logical, right? Okay. In this position, people need to at least graduate, college and diploma of science or diploma of something, right? And then they take exam, right? To pass, to be government officials, right? That is logical reasoning. Yeah. So more than 2,000 years ago, Plato said, government should be running like this way. Okay, you're my friend, okay, come here, become my, government's official. It's nothing like that. Okay, another video we're gonna watch about philosopher Plato's idea. Should be 15, 14. Okay, got this. Let's see. Okay.
Few individuals have influenced the world and many of today's thinkers, like Plato. One 20th century philosopher even went so far as to describe all of Western philosophy as a series of footnotes to Plato. He created the first Western university and was teacher to ancient Greece's greatest minds, including Aristotle. But even one of the founders of philosophy wasn't perfect. Along with his great ideas, Plato had a few that haven't exactly stood the test of time. So here are brief rundowns of a few of his best and worst ideas. Plato argued that beyond our imperfect world was a perfect, unchanging world of forms. Forms are the ideal versions of the things and concepts we see around us. They serve as a sort of instruction manual to our own world. Floating around the world of forms is the ideal tree and the ideal YouTube channel, and even the ideal justice or ideal love. Our own reality is comprised of imperfect copies of ideal forms. Plato argued that philosophers should strive to contemplate and understand these perfect forms so that they may better navigate our misleading reality. While it may seem silly, the disconnect between the world as it appears and the greater truth behind it is one of philosophy's most vexing problems. It's been the subject of thousands of pages by theologians, philosophers, and screenwriters alike.
Sorry. Mirror. Sorry.
Few individuals have influenced the world and many of today's thinkers, like Plato. One 20th century philosopher even went so far as to describe all of Western philosophy as a series of footnotes to Plato. He created the first Western university and was teacher to ancient Greece's greatest minds, including Aristotle. But even one of the founders of philosophy wasn't perfect. Along with his great ideas, Plato had a few that haven't exactly stood the test of time. So here are brief rundowns of a few of his best and worst ideas. Plato argued that beyond our imperfect world was a perfect, unchanging world of forms. Forms are the ideal versions of the things and concepts we see around us. They serve as a sort of instruction manual to our own world. Floating around the world of forms is the ideal treat and the ideal YouTube channel, and even the ideal justice or ideal love. Our own reality is comprised of imperfect copies of
Yes.
ideal forms. Plato argued that philosophers should strive to contemplate and understand these perfect forms so that they may better navigate our misleading reality. While it may seem silly, the disconnect between the world as it appears and the greater truth behind it is one of philosophy's most vexing problems. It's been the subject of thousands of pages by theologians, philosophers, and screenwriters alike. It raises questions like, should we trust our senses to come to the truth, or our own reason? For Plato, the answer is reason.
Right? Sense, reason. The answer is reason. Reasoning. Rational.
Alone provides us with at least the potential to contemplate the forms. But reason didn't always pan out for Plato himself. When he sought to situate humankind amongst the animals, he lumped us in with birds. Featherless bipeds was his official designation. Diogenes the cynic, annoyed by this definition, stormed into Plato's class with a plucked chicken, announcing, "Behold, Plato's man." But back to a few good ideas. Plato is one of the earliest political theorists on record, and with Aristotle, is seen as one of the founders of political science. He reasoned that being a ruler was no different than any other craft, whether a potter or doctor, and that only those who had mastered the craft were fit to lead. Ruling was the craft of contemplating the forms. In his Republic, Plato imagined a utopia, where justice is the ultimate goal. Plato's ideal city seeks a harmonious balance between its individual parts, and should be led by a philosopher king. Millennia before his time, Plato also reasoned that women were equally able to rule in this model city. Unfortunately, Plato was inconsistent with women, elsewhere likening them to children. He also believed that a woman's womb was a live animal that could wander around in her body and cause illness. This bad idea, also espoused by other contemporaries of Plato, was sadly influential for hundreds of years in European medicine. Furthermore, he thought that society should be divided into three groups: producers, the military, and the rulers, and that a great, noble lie should convince everyone to follow this structure. The noble lie he proposed was that we're all born with gold, silver, or a mixture of brass and iron in our souls, which determine our roles in life. Some thinkers have gone on to credit the idea of the noble lie as a prototype for 20th century propaganda, and the philosopher king as inspiration for the dictators that used them. Should a few bad ideas tarnish Plato's status as one of the greatest philosophers in history? No. Plato gave the leaders and thinkers who came after him a place to start. Through the centuries, we've had the chance to those ideas through writing and experience, and have accepted some while rejecting others. We are continuing to refine, amend, and edit his ideas, which have become foundations of the modern world.
Yes. At that time, ancient Greek, Plato's idea was good, maybe was phenomenal, but nowadays, some of his idea is not working here, right? Yeah. So, but anyway, Plato's idea was still influencing many philosophers. Yeah. And nowadays, political systems too. Alrighty.